This young man is a dear friend of mine. We go back into our first network marketing coming together. Without further ado, my dear friend, the author of Beach Money and Better Than Beach Money, the one and only great Mr. Jordan Adler.
Hey, thanks, Al. Struggling a little bit with my voice here this morning, but it's good to be here with you. Al Thomas, listen, first of all, it's an honor to be here on your team call today. And it was so cool. I was at this, like Al mentioned, I was at the cigar spot about a week and a half ago, and I was meeting with about 5 of my friends, and they've all read my book. And they're not part of our company. They're just people that I know, just good friends that I've known for a long time. All read my book. I look over, and Al's sitting across the room. So they all know Al's story because they read it in my book, but they've never met him. And so I brought him over, and we created some new friends and new connections. And that's really what it's all about. So, hey, I want to start off by saying 2 things. First of all, the book Beach Money that Al held up, the book he has, there's actually been 3 editions of that original book. Every one of them has new chapters and some additional things that have been put in it. So this is an old copy. This is the original. He's got the original copy. The new copy that you see online, there it is, as a while ago. The new copy that you'll find online, the last chapter in the book, in my opinion, is worth the price of the whole book. And that's so my first book, Beach Money, has 3 editions, but then there's a new book called Better Than Beach Money. It came out about 3 years ago. And combined, they've sold over 1 million copies. I'd love for you, if you don't have the books, I'd love for you to pick them up. And then also, please follow me on Instagram at Beach Money Jordan, at Beach Money Jordan. And I'll follow you back. And yeah, Al, so what are we talking about today? First of all,
Happy New Year, my friend. Good seeing you. I haven't seen you all year.
Yeah.
Hey, I got something I want to show you real quick, and we can kind of play off of that a little bit.
All right.
Folks that have not read Beach Money, definitely get the book. I mean, mine is one of the originals, and matter of fact, mine is actually autographed, and it sits on my desk. All my autographed books sits on my desk, and my most expensive autographed book beside is Og Mandino trilogy, and it's signed by him as well. So
nice.
All my books that are autographed sits on my desk, and this is the most expensive one that I have right here. But anyway, let's get into today. We got a couple things we want to ask you about, Mr. Jordan Allen. So what Mr. Bree Clemens, put up the first picture. You know, it's amazing. We got together, had a cigar a couple of weeks ago, and then I was at another cigar place, and sitting there at the bar having another cigar, which I like, a good Cuban cigar. And up popped Jordan Allen. Here's a story he just told you.
And you guys probably think I only have one sweatshirt because I'm wearing the same sweatshirt in that picture that I'm wearing here.
I would have never noticed it unless you brought that up. And walked in, and Jordan Allen walked in and said, hey, listen, these guys bought hundreds and hundreds of thousands of my books. And now here we are, three different people hit the top of each network marketing company. Mr. Jordan Allen is number 1 in his company, and there I am with ACN, and these other gentlemen are in another MLM company. And I'll let you take the story from there, sir. And then I got something else I want to show you. Go ahead.
No, the guy that's in the smack in the center, right behind myself and Al, when he was 19 years old, he was in Las Vegas, and I met him through some friends. Briefly met him, and he was in another network marketing company, and he contacted me and had said, Jordan, can I use your condo for a presentation for my business? I've got a condo on the Las Vegas Strip at the Waldorf, and I don't even know this guy, this 19-year-old kid. And I'm like, yeah, sure, as long as I can be there. And so I'm in my condo with him and his team, and he does a presentation. We end up becoming friends. He's now a $250,000 a month earner with his company. He's in the solar business, but we've become real close friends, and we've taken private jet trips together. And then his company owner is the guy in the orange. That's Dave. And they just brought some of their team, and we ran into Al and just had a great time. And they had all read Beach Money. And by the way, the thing that happens the most with Beach Money, I know a lot of you have read it and a lot of you haven't, but the thing that happens the most is that people that were not fully committed to network marketing as a career, they read Beach Money and they say to themselves after reading it, I can do this. And people that don't say I can do it, don't do it. Think about it. If you're thinking about doing something and you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to take the steps to do it. I was in Florida, and we were out at a pool with a bunch of our leaders, and we were sitting under one of those those beach umbrellas with the table, and there's about probably, I don't know, 10 of us around the table. You see the ocean off in the distance. And I just asked the question, I wonder why more people don't make $100,000 a month in network marketing. And we started talking about that. And I thought, Orville and Wilbur Wright, they would not have risked death and worldwide ridicule if they didn't believe it was possible to fly. They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have spent the money. They wouldn't have taken the time. They wouldn't have risked their lives if they didn't believe it was possible to fly. They had to believe it was possible. So if you take 1,000 people and ask them, is it possible, 1,000 random people on the street, is it possible to make $100,000 a month? Well, only probably about 900, probably 100 of the 1,000 would say it's possible to make $100,000 a month. Well, that means only 100 people would even do it. But then you ask the question, do you believe it's possible for you? And really only about 2 or 3 out of 1,000 think it'll be possible for them to make $1,000 a month, or to make $100,000 a month. So there's only a fraction of 1,000 that will actually do the work, the hard work to get there. As soon as somebody doubts or questions, then they quit, right? Most people. But the difference between the people that make it and the ones that don't is the ones that make it, when they start to doubt, they poured gasoline on the fire rather than throwing in the towel. That's the difference. In every case, every single person that you see at the top ranks, even if it's 500 a month or 1,000 a month or 5,000 a month, whatever the level is, we've all got our thermostat. Until, some of you believe that you can only make $500 a month. You don't believe it's possible for you to make more. So you're going to only do the work to make $500 a month. So it requires a different mindset to make 5 or 6 figures a month. It requires a different mindset. You're focused on different things. So like a lot of you've heard me talk about the fly buzzing against the window. That fly's trying to get out. 10 feet away, there's a wide open door, and that fly could just shift its focus and effortlessly fly to freedom. But what is it going to do? It's going to squelch its little life out on that windowsill and struggle. Even though there's a wide open door right in the other direction, it's going to die on the windowsill trying to get out. And that's just a shift in focus. And the people that make it, they shift their focus. They don't focus on when things get tough, quitting. That's just not in their vocabulary. It's not in their line of sight. Or if they do go there, then they realize it, they're aware of it, and they go, quitting is not an option right now. I got to work harder. I got to get more focused on what the leaders are focusing on, not what my natural tendency is to focus on, I can't do this, this isn't going to work, it's too late, whatever excuse you come up with. So, yeah.
That's a good point. And I think a lot of people need encouragement, and they're always looking for outside things to encourage them, when a leader will encourage themselves within themselves, or push themselves or challenge themselves.
Right.
So, what if a person is kind of just brand new to network marketing? What kind of things would you say to encourage that person that they can do it?
Well, first of all, the way to get the encouragement that you need is you've got to do 2 things. You got to be around people that are doing it, not talking about it, but actually doing it. And if you can't get around those people, at the very least, you need to, on a daily basis, be focused on your personal development. You need to be reading The Science of Getting Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon, The Magic of Thinking Big. And you need to give yourself a minimum of 30 minutes a day, and do it in the morning. I mean, if you do a workout in the morning or whatever, give yourself 30 minutes of personal development, because what it'll do is it'll give you the motivation and the hope that it's possible for you if you'll do that. I had a woman come up to me at an event in Chicago. It wasn't my event. I just had some friends running an event for another company, and I hadn't seen them in a while. And I went into this restaurant, and they had about 200 of their leaders there. And I went, it was Sarah Robbins. And I went over to Sarah, just to say hi. I think she was 24, 25 years old at the time. And this woman came over, this tall, beautiful business woman came over. She was wearing a business suit. And she said, Jordan, she goes, I was a corporate executive. I never saw my kids. And I did not believe in network marketing. I did not like it. I thought it was a scam. She goes, my friend here gave me your book, Beach Money, and I read it. And as soon as I read it, I said, I need to do this. And she was then became the #2 money earner in that company. And she was able to stay home with her kids and build her business from home. And it was because she read the book and she goes, you know what, I can do this and I get it. So I'm not just doing this to promote my book, although I think everybody should read it. And I love the book. I like telling people about it, but it does help people. And so if you've got prospects that are hesitant or they're not working real hard, or you want them to engage, consider giving them a copy, because it will help them. If they read it, it will shift their mindset. It'll get them to focus on the things that they need to focus on to be successful.
You know, this week we studied chapter 15 in your book, and it says how I turned square pieces of cardboard into $100 bills. And we also read chapter 16, the $1 yardstick solution.
Yeah.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. You don't want to just touch base on the 100 pieces of cardboard?
Yeah. You can buy a business card for about a nickel, right? A lot of people say, well, business cards are becoming outdated. People are doing electronic business cards. And that's true. They are doing that stuff. But at the same time, when somebody starts a business today, with very few exceptions, now there are exceptions, but with very few exceptions, even young people, when they start a traditional business, the first thing they do is they get their URL. And the second thing they do is they get their business cards. They got to have business cards, right? And a business card costs you about a nickel. Maybe you can get it down to a penny, or maybe it's going to cost you a dime if it's a little higher quality. But that's what most people would say. That's what a business card costs, right? But a business card isn't worth that. I figured out, what is there's a couple of calculations that you got to think about. One is, what is the lifetime value of a customer for you? What is the lifetime value of a distributor for you, an IBO for you? What's the lifetime value? In other words, if you sponsor 50 IBOs, and out of those 50, 2 of them go out and build businesses where they're making $10,000 a month, and you're making $2,000 a month, let's just say, from the IBOs. You have 2 IBOs out of 50 that you're making, what did I say, $2,000 a month. So that's $4,000 a month. That's 50 grand a year. So 50 grand a year from 2 IBOs after you sponsored 50 IBOs you're making, but that 50 grand a year is not just for 1 year. That might go for 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. Let's just say 5 years. So that's 50,000 times 5 years. That's $250,000. So a lifetime value of an IBO, might be, $125,000. I don't know. I'm just making this up, but you got to figure out what that is. So then if you've got business cards and you start handing out business cards, there's certain things you can do to make sure that those business cards have maximum value. One of the things you can do is stay in touch with the people that you give the business card to. So if I give away 100 business cards and I stay in touch with all 100 of them, some of those are going to become my customer and some of them are going to become my IBO. So you can actually then calculate, when you're giving out business cards, what is the average that each business card is worth based on what your lifetime value of an IBO or lifetime value of a customer is. And I give those calculations in the book. Every time I hand somebody a business card, doesn't matter if they do anything with me or not, 100%, every single person I hand a business card to, because of what I do, that's worth $10,000 to me every time. 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Doesn't matter if they do anything with me or not, because I know if I take those 100 people that I've given the business cards to and I stay in touch with them and I remember them on their birthday and I buy them coffee once in a while, maybe send them a gift once in a while, if I do those things, then I know out of those 100, 20 of them are going to do business with me. And I know how much that's worth to me. And I know that when I hand somebody a business card, because I can divide it up, it's $10,000. And wow. I know for some of you, what I said made sense, especially if I'm not analytical at all. those of you that are not analytical, this is stuff that you might have to process. Read the book; it'll make more sense. But you'll see it once you read the book. But it's powerful when you have business cards and you don't just hand them out randomly. You build relationships, you connect with people, you ask them questions, get to know about them, remember things about them. So you should have a simple system, that when you meet somebody and they tell you some things, you're not going to remember what they told you 2 weeks from now or a year from now. So you want to have a place where you take notes on each person. And so that you can go back when you know you're going to meet with them again or chat with them again. And you go, oh man, how was your daughter's birthday? Well, how did you remember that it was her birthday? Well, you kept notes. Or somebody has a big vacation coming up and they're going to the Bahamas. How was your trip to the Bahamas? Well, you're not going to remember that in 6 months. But if you write it down, put it in a file somewhere on your computer so you can go back and look. You want to keep track of that stuff. Harvey McKay, who wrote Swim with the Sharks Without Getting Eaten Alive, he taught me this concept, and I've been living by it ever since. Tom Chenault has Tom and his son, Adrian, have a tool, an app called Contact Mapping. It's called Contact Mapping. It's a very simple tool. It's free. You can upgrade to other programs, but it's a free tool. And Contact Mapping helps you to do all the things. I use it all the time. It helps you to do all the things so you just type in Contact Map, you type in the person's name, first name, last name, whatever, comes up and it tells you everything about them because you put it in there. And it also collects stuff off their social media, so you have it all. Anyway.
Wow, that's a good one. Yeah, sending out cards on their birthday, like, what's March 9th for you?
Look at you, Al. See, Al keeps track.
I keep track. Matter of fact, this looks familiar. This looks familiar. I don't throw these away, by the way. I have a collection of them. But
check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, I've got a collection. I don't throw them away. So it's so true. Spend a moment to talk about the $1 yardstick solution. I think that was because we were just studying those 2 chapters this week.
Al, we're getting pretty high up there on that yardstick. You notice that? Yeah. So this only works, by the way, this only works in the United States because a yardstick is in the United. There's no yardstick. It's a meter stick in Europe, I think. But you could probably create one for Europe. But so those wooden yardsticks that you buy at Ace Hardware or at Home Depot, those wooden yardsticks, you can get them for $2. On that yardstick, there's 36 inches. And if each inch represents 2 years, that's 72 years. Now, some of us are going to live more than 72 years, significantly more. Some of us may not live to 72. We don't know. That's not our decision. But 72 years on that yardstick. Well, we don't start work typically till we're 10 inches on the yardstick. So 10 inches on the yardstick is 20 years old because each inch represents 2 years. And most of us, what we do is we trade time for money. So we put in work and we get paid. That's what most people do, right? At their jobs, they put in work and they get paid. Even traditional business that doesn't have leverage, they put in the work and they get paid. That's people who sell their time, people who sell their time. So what happens is you're now at 40 years old, you're 20 inches on that 36-inch yardstick, you're 20 inches down the way, and you're now 40 years old, and you realize that, maybe you've got a few $1,000s in savings, maybe you have a 401k plan, but everybody between the age of 40 and 50 or 35 and 50 has something that happens that is a life-changing event. It's usually not good, like a spouse loses a job or somebody has a medical emergency that costs thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars and there's no insurance, someone we care about. Something happens where we have to dip into our 401k or our savings, our meager savings, and we're starting over at the age of 45 years old. Now, a divorce, right? A job loss, right? A catastrophic event like the city decides to rip out the road in front of your store that you own, and the customers can't get in for a year and a half. Whatever it is, it's some type of event that causes you to deplete all your savings. So this is what I love about network marketing. Is on that yardstick, you can take 2 inches on the yardstick, 4 years. And with leverage, if you can put in 5 hours a week and you can find one other person that can put in 5 hours a week, you're now benefiting from 10 hours worth of work a week, but you're only putting in 5. And if you find somebody else that can put in 5 hours a week, and your person finds somebody who can put in 5 hours a week, now you're benefiting from 20 hours worth of work a week, but you're only putting in 5. This is how we compress time frames so that in 4 years or 2 inches on that yardstick, you can do what most people can't do in their whole career if you're focused on doing the work. If you're focused on doing the work. I do want to say something else that's very, very important. The way your business grows is through new customers, and the way it duplicates is through new IBOs. All right. So if you can imagine a tree in the forest, if that tree every year doesn't have new buds, it's on its way to death. It's got to have new buds on the tree. So you have to create those new buds. In order to grow an organization like Mr. Al Thomas here and some of you others, Brian Baker, some of the others, in order for you to grow an organization like that, you've got to plant seeds. They turn into saplings, and then they turn into little trees, and then they turn into big trees, and they drop seeds. That takes time. But the only way that's going to happen is if you plant a lot of seeds and then care for them the best you can. That doesn't mean over watering them or over fertilizing them or trying to dig them up when they're not growing fast enough and plant them somewhere else. That doesn't work. You got to always finding new people, always looking for new people every day. The question here, write this down, put it in the comments, write this down. The question you always want to be asking yourself every day, 2 words, put it on your mirror. Who's next? Who's next? That's the question. Who's next? Always be asking yourself that question. Who's the next person I'm going to put on my list? Who's the next person I'm going to send a message to? Who's the next person I'm going to send a video to, a YouTube video to? Who's the next person I'm going to invite onto our Zoom? Who's the next person I'm going to sign up? Who's the next person I'm going to train? Who's the next person that's going to be my customer? Who's the next person that's going to, be my next leader? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Always. If you keep that on your radar all the time, every day, and then that's got to be in the background, like this blurry background here. Who's next has to be in the background, but in the foreground is your connection with people. In the foreground is your connection. It's your relationship. It's caring more about the relationship than it is about getting them. The way you get people is to give more. The way you get people is to give more. Okay, it's not and giving without the expectation of getting something in return. So people will want to be part of your team when they see you as somebody who adds value and contributes to their life and to the lives of the people around them without expecting anything in return. So in the background is who's next, always who's next, who's next, who's next. But in the foreground is who am I going to develop my next lifelong friendship with? Some of my friends will become distributors with me. Some of them will become customers with me. Some of them will just remain friends and never be a customer and never be a distributor. So I sign up myself personally, 1 person a week. Personally, myself, 1 person a week, and I've been with my company for 18 years. And I still average between 3 and 4 people. I've signed up 600 people personally in my company in 17 years. It's about 3 a month. And most of those people are people that are coming to me. I don't have to prospect them because they're people that I've been friends with for years and they know what I do. And so I've built relationships with those people. I've got thousands and thousands of people that I built relationship with over the past 18, 20, 25, 30 years. And when the timing is right for them. So let me throw one more thing at you, Al, and then we'll see where we're at. Everybody's life is changing every day. People get married, people get divorced, people have kids, the kids move out, people go to school, people quit school, people lose their job. Every time there's a life event that everybody goes through, their situation is different. And so people, if you prospect somebody and then never talk to them again because they weren't interested, you're missing the biggest opportunity in your network marketing career, because most of the people that will join you are people that will not sign up when you show them the business. They'll sign up later. Your job is to then stay friends with them if there's somebody you want to maintain a long-term relationship with, but you got to take that initiative to keep that relationship going, because we're busy. Everybody's busy. Sometimes it's just a message a month just to say, hey, checking in, how are you? not to get them, never to get them, just to check in and just to keep that relationship going. Let's grab coffee sometime. I'd love to go to dinner with you sometime and kick around business ideas and just get caught up. Hey, let's jump on a Zoom. I did during the pandemic. I did a monthly cigar with a bunch of friends. Al, were you ever on any of those? No. Yeah, I get a group of friends. I'm surprised that you weren't. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, we would do that once a month just to stay connected, with friends. So I'm always looking at my list. I'm always looking at my contacts and going, who's a friend that I haven't talked to in a while? Shoot them a message. Yeah.
Jordan, I love that because I was sharing with the group about a week ago. This is the perfect time of the year. Hey, I just want to call and say hi. Don't want nothing. I was just thinking about you. Happy New Year. And that's it. I mean, and I love that you said that because it just coincides exactly what I was talking about. Just call them, say hi. Don't want nothing.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people, hey, tell me more about the business. Hey, let's get together for a cup of coffee. Hey, I want to hear what it is so true. So thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. I got something I want to show you real quick. Mr. Bree Clemens, you want to? You want to explain that?
Oh, yeah. So my buddy Edmund, who was in that you see him there right in the center of the picture on the left there, he was in that cigar lounge with us when Al put that picture up earlier. He bought a convertible Rolls Royce, and they had it wrapped in their company colors. And then he also his company owner has that Lambo back there. And is that a Lambo or Ferrari?
That's a Ferrari.
Oh yeah, Ferrari. They got all kinds of exotic cars going on with that company. That's they're growing and like I say, they're in the solar business, so they're very niche. But yeah, that's at Tivoli Village in Henderson, or not Henderson, Summerlin. Summerlin, yeah. And they were walking out. I'd already taken off, but they were walking out and to brag about their cars to Al.
Yeah, they wanted to show me their toys. So
yeah.
But you know what? Just to let people know the call. You said sometimes people don't believe they can make 100,000. They don't believe they can make 10,000. And you're so right. If you don't believe you can, you can. That young man bought the drop top Rolls Royce for himself, and he bought the Ferrari for the owner. So he bought not only his Rolls Royce for himself, but he also bought a Ferrari for the owner of the company to say thank you. See, that's another way of giving back. And so many people don't understand. The more you give, the more you receive, but you got to be able to give it.
Yeah. And the thing is, again, you asked this question, but I really want to drive this home. The way you increase your belief is you've got to stir up the creative juices in your brain and your body. You've got to get those going. And the way to do that is to read and listen. If it's hard for you to read books, then in the morning when you wake up, instead of turning on the news, which is horrible. It messes you up. It messes your brain up. It really does. I've fallen victim to it as well. And then I decided in the new year, I can't do that anymore. Every morning I wake up, I put on an audiobook while I'm getting ready and taking a shower and all that. I got an audiobook going, and it gets your creative juices going, and it gets you excited. It gets you excited about life. It gets you excited about your business. It gets you excited about possibilities. It gets you excited about that you can do it. It helps to instill belief, all of those things. So, and I know a lot of you are doing that. Probably a third of you are doing it. A third of you sometimes a little bit once in a while. That was me before the new year. But I've had years, like I've had years where I've been fully immersed in my personal development, and then I forget and kind of veer off, and then I have to get realigned, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm realigned, and I've got I'm doing 52 books this year. I'm reading 52 books this year. I've got my first 4 going for January. I'm doing all 4 at the same time. About a third of the way through all 4 of those books. And I'm starting with the foundational books. I've got Think and Grow Rich. I've got The Magic of Thinking Big. I've got a book on why a business person should write a book. I've got another one, The Science of Getting Rich. So those are the books that I'm starting on for January. Those are my first 4 weeks of the year. I'm going to do 52 weeks this year, and I'm reading about an hour a day. There you go. Yeah, just always.
Here's my 2 for the year. I'm starting off with. This is amazing one right here. Self-made women. Got to get it. It's powerful. Oh. And this we're going to be studying. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I got my 2. I'm already started them. It's so important. I want to say this to end the call a little bit, but I want everybody. I'm going to regurgitate what Mr. Jordan said. You must add value without expecting something in return. And that is so powerful. And Jordan Allen is he's epitome of that, because that's what he does. If we would all understand that, because they don't join right now, don't throw it away. Just keep dripping on them a little bit at a time, and you'd be surprised what'll come out of that. So write that down. You must add value without expecting something in return.
Last few words. Al, you're a gift giver, man. I mean, I noticed that with I have three friends that are billionaires. One of them we're mutual friends with. And all three of them, they're billionaires. There's a reason they're billionaires, but all three of them, every time you see them, they have a gift for you. Lisa and Kenny would always have a gift for us. Yeah. Joe and Connie Mitchell always had a gift for us. Yeah. Richard Branson always has a gift for you. Yeah, so it's like when you meet a billionaire, that's in their, it's wired into their DNA is to give gifts. And Al, you do that. Almost every time I see you, you got some gift for me. You know?
Yes, sir. You know, that book I just showed, I bought 40 more of them to give away, just for women that I know that would be a blessing.
Nice. Yeah.
For this, because you know why? I'm reading, it's powerful, but you got to give it. Like I said, with a closed fist, you can't give or receive. The more you give, the more God will bless you with more. And some people, you wonder why you're stuck. Maybe you need to give a little something. You know, don't go, you know, it's like the holidays. People come over your house, eat all your food, and they want to take something home with them, and they didn't bring anything.
Right.
You know.
I'll share a couple things with you about the new year and about dreams and all that. So, you know, I've been a goal setter in my life, and I'm also I'm a dream broker. That's kind of how I view myself. Like, what you want to do is you want to live your dreams. You want to focus on living your dreams, and then instill belief in other people that they can live theirs. You want to be focused on building relationships and making sure you're in productive action every day, and then have your sights set on your dreams, whatever they are. And they have to be dreams that are going to fulfill you personally. So if going down to South America and building a church with your church or whatever, if that's your dream, then put that somewhere where you see it every day. One of the things I like to do is I like to every year have 3 things that I'm focused on that are dreams for me. And I write those down. They don't always become fulfilled, but I have learned something about I'm not an expert at the subconscious mind, but I've learned some things about the subconscious mind. When we dream at night, we dream in 3 dimensions, and we don't dream in a linear fashion. We dream in 3 dimensions, multi-dimensional. And as we're dreaming, the reason we dream is it's our brain trying to solve the problems in our life. That's really what it is. It's our subconscious mind trying to sort out the inconsistencies, the incongruities, the anger, the fear, all the things that are going on. It's our subconscious mind trying to sort that out for us. So if you don't give your subconscious mind something to sort out, it'll just randomly pick stuff that's heavy on you, that's weighing heavy on you. That's why we have nightmares too, by the way, is the more nightmares we have, it's our subconscious mind trying to sort things out. So one of the things I've learned is that human beings, they handle things in a linear fashion. So we think in a very linear way. That's why step 1, step 2, step 3 resonates with us. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this. But the truth is, almost nobody that follows a step-by-step plan finishes the plan. Like if you say, in order for me to achieve this particular dream, like I want my dream car, my dream house, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, got to do this. Never happens that way. People don't achieve their dreams that way, ever, 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 ever. If you think about the greatest things that have happened in your life, they've happened as a result of someone you met, typically. And it's someone that you didn't expect to meet. Think about it. Every great thing that's happened in your life that fulfilled a dream for you was a result of you meeting somebody unexpectedly, typically, right? Not always, but most of the time. So when we try and we set goals and we say, I got to do this, I got to do this. That's like waste of time, in my opinion. What I found is if you put a dream out there, like for me, it was learning to fly helicopters. I didn't know how that was going to happen. I didn't even believe it was possible for me. I grew up in not poverty, but just above poverty. Like my dad made $28,000 a year and raised a family of 5, right? And that wasn't a lot of money even back then. And so the idea of owning a helicopter, flying a helicopter, being in the presence of a helicopter. But this was one of my dreams. I wrote it down. And when you write it down, your brain goes to work when you're sleeping. And it will lead you to the resources that will give you what you need to manifest it. So I like 3. I think 3 a year is good. Write them down, put them on your mirror, put them somewhere in your car where you see them every day, or on your phone where every time you open your phone, you see your 3 dreams or your 3 goals. And you don't need to commit to them. It's not really a commitment, it's a dream. So it's like, write it down and focus on it and just see where it takes you. See who it leads you to. So let's see, Mark Maples, my hair is growing out because I randomly met a 7-year-old girl in a hair salon. I don't typically go to because my guy wasn't available. I let her shave my head while her mom videotaped it. I didn't know her story. I do now. In July, she was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. Wow. In her back. They're struggling to get the medical bills paid. I have a set goal to do a fundraiser, either mute. See, this is a perfect example. Thank you for this, Mark. That happened not because he wrote it down as a goal. He didn't have a step-by-step plan to create this miracle for this little girl. He didn't have a step-by-step plan. He just happened to be there at the right time. And I have a very good friend. His name's Cody Bateman, and he wrote a book called Promptings. And promptings is follow your promptings, and it will lead you to your genius. Follow your promptings, and it will lead you to your genius. And that's all really we're talking about. It's like, open your heart and see what comes through, what materializes for you. I don't know if Al's coming back or not. Maybe he lost power. Maybe his computer died. I'm not really sure. But I told him I had 30 minutes, and unfortunately I've got a jet. But I want to thank all of you, and I love your organization. I've known Al for more years than I can even count. And he's a very good friend. I'm blessed to know him, and I'm really appreciative that you all took a few minutes to listen to me today. So